What's up, everybody? We're back. We're doing another game recap. This will be for Saturday's games, December 16th, and the first one, the Bengals beat the Vikings 27-24. Battle of the backup quarterbacks, battle of the good backup quarterbacks, honestly. Nick Mullens was 26-33, 303 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He also had 6 carries for 10 yards. Nick Mullens would be a solid add right now. He has a good playoff schedule, too, so look out for that. He can complete a lot of passes. He's from San Francisco tree. He knows how to quarterback. And Kevin O'Connell makes it easy for guys too. So 303 yards and 2 touchdowns, that'll get it done. Good, solid ad right now. And Justin Jefferson did not complete his only pass. Ty Chandler, 23 carries, 132 yards, a touchdown. Really good stuff here. He also had 3 catches for 25 yards. A really solid ad. Look out for Alex Mattison. If Mattison is out, Ty Chandler, you got to play him. If Mattison is in, it makes it a little tougher because I still think Mattison is the guy. If he were to play, he's still going to get the majority of carries, but Ty Chandler's still a decent option. And Canadian Wongwu only had the 1 carry for 1 yard, so all the more reason to add Ty Chandler. Jordan Addison, really good day, and Nick Mullens looking as good as he did. Jordan Addison could be a really solid play during the fantasy playoffs the rest of the way. 6 catches, 111 yards, and 2 touchdowns and 6 targets. That'll get it done very efficient there. Justin Jefferson had 7 catches for 84 yards and 10 targets. You got to play Justin Jefferson if he's out there. This is probably the low end of what Justin Jefferson will do. And another week removed from his injury, he'll just be that much better. So keep playing Justin Jefferson. TJ Hockenson, keep playing him too. 6 catches, 63 yards. 63 yards. That will absolutely get it done for a tight end. Josh Oliver, the backup tight end, had 2 catches for 14 yards on 2 targets. Johnny Mund had a catch for 3, and KJ Osborn also had a catch for 3. Jake Browning, another really solid ad. He just doesn't have as good of a playoff schedule as Jake Browning. 29-42, 324 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. He also had 4 carries for 0 yards. Again, really solid ad. He's going to add up yards and add up completions, but at the same time, bad playoff schedule. So just weigh that with whatever your options are there. Joe Mixon still leading the way, 10 carries, 47 yards, and a rushing touchdown. He also had 3 catches for 14 yards. Joe Mixon, low upside, high floor sort of play. He's still getting the majority of carries here, and Chase Brown didn't really do anything to help himself. Seven carries, 23 yards for him. He also had 3 catches for 28, so just really a compliment to Joe Mixon. But Mixon hasn't really had a compliment take touches away from him in a while, so this is definitely noteworthy. Very good dynasty stash, Chase Brown. Travion Williams had a carry for 10 yards as well. Jamar Chase, 4 catches, 64 yards on 4 targets. You got to play Jamar Chase. He's Jamar Chase. It's a little risky with Jake Browning in there, but he's so talented. You got to play him. Even though the 4 targets here is going to be scary for next week, but it's still Jamar Chase. And T. Higgins, this is probably going to be the best game that he has the rest of the season. 4 catches, 61 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns, led the team in targets. If trades are still going on, this will be a massive sell high. I don't expect T. Higgins to repeat this. But having said that, he's going to be boosted a little bit in the rankings next week. Tyler Boyd, 2 catches, 53 yards on 5 targets. He's a very safe drop. Tanner Hudson is the tight end you want to roster from this group. 5 catches, 49 yards is okay for a tight end. Mitchell Wilcox, 2 catches for 20 yards. Irv Smith is the 2 for 18. Charlie Jones, the Boilermaker, had 2 catches for 10. Andre, Iosivas? No, it's Yosivas. Andre Yosivas had a catch for 5 yards on 2 targets. All through draft season, I was having trouble with that, and I'm still having trouble with that. I try to sign it out. I'm going to nail it. By next week, it's just going to flow. Travion Williams, he had a catch for 2, and Drew Sample was not able to haul on his only target. Next game, the Steelers lost to the Colts 30-13. Trubisky, 16-23, 169 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. He also had 2 carries for 1 yard and a rushing touchdown. Do not add Mitch Trubisky because his fantasy points don't look as horrible because of this rushing touchdown, because he is absolutely dreadful. This offense cannot move the ball whatsoever. Mason Rudolph came in. He was 2 of 3 for 3 yards. If he is the starter, do not add him either. Jaylen Warren was the leading rusher, 10 carries for 40 yards, but Najee Harris had more carries than him, 12 carries for 33 yards. Najee didn't have any receiving work in this one, but Jaylen Warren had 5 catches for 28 on 6 targets. So Jaylen Warren looking very much like the running back that you want to roster from the Steelers. Diontae Johnson, 4 catches, 52 yards, and a receiving touchdown. He is definitely the receiver you want to play from this group. George Pickens, 3 catches, 47 yards. He led the team in targets with 7, but still, he's going to be very up and down. Allen Robinson, 3 catches for 19 yards, and Pat Freiermuth, 3 catches for 16 yards. Very disappointing there. Play Pat with the matchups, not necessarily someone you want to lock into your starting spot every single week, unless you're in a pinch, really. Gardner Minshew, really solid day here, 18 to 28, 215 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also had 2 carries for 0 yards. He's going to be a really solid option going forward. Baker Mayfield sort of level, can absolutely get it done. Jake Browning, Nick Mullens now, I think is also in the Gardner Minshew class. So just kind of play the matchups there. But I would kind of favor Minshew because he has more experience this year. So Minshew and Mayfield would have the priority there as far as talent is concerned. But like I said, you got to play the matchups with those guys more than anything. Trey Sermon, 17 carries, 88 yards. Zach Moss left with an injury, so they kind of split the carries here. Tyler Goodson had 11 carries for 69 yards, and before Moss went out, he had 4 for 13. Zach Moss also had the 3 catches for 20 yards and a receiving touchdown, so really good stuff there. Tyler Goodson had 2 catches for 10 yards and no receiving work for Trey Sermon in this one. Michael Pittman, got to play him every single week. 4 catches, 78 yards. This is the low end of Michael Pittman. Only 5 targets is very low for Michael Pittman, but still, he's the obvious number 1 receiver in this offense, even when they're pulling away. Even when he only gets 5 targets, he makes it 100% makes it work. DJ Montgomery, 2 catches for 48 yards and a touchdown. Mo Alley-Cox, 2 catches, 21 yards and a touchdown. Do not roster any Colts tight end. It's going to be so back and forth like it has been all season. Josh Downs, very safe drop. 3 catches for 19 yards for him. Good dynasty hold, though. I think he has a lot of talent. Alec Pierce, he had a catch for 13 yards. Matched Michael Pittman's target share with 5, but didn't do nearly as much with it. Kylan Granson had a catch for 6, and Drew Ogletree was not able to haul in his only target. Last game of the night, the Lions destroyed the Broncos 42-17. Russell Wilson was 18 of 32, 223 yards, a touchdown. He also had 7 carries for 6 yards and a rushing touchdown. Very middle of the road. If you're starting Russell Wilson every week, that isn't terrible, but ideally you'd have a better option than that. Samaje Perine, 6 carries, 37 yards. That's enough to make you the leading rusher for the Broncos in this one. He also had a catch for 11 yards. Javonte Williams had twice as many carries. He had 12 carries, but only 27 yards for him. Let's see here. Javonte, 2 catches, -7 yards. That's not going to get it done. Really disappointing stuff from Javonte, but the Lions have a really good run defense, so I think that's more the reason. Play Javonte more with the matchups as we go forward, but having said that, he's still a really good option because there aren't very many running backs out there who have this much of a load as far as the carries are concerned. So definitely keep Javonte as a startable option, but don't plug him in like set it and forget it type of player. Marvin Mims, he had a carry for 11 yards. How about that? And Jaleel McLaughlin had 2 carries for 2 yards. He also had 2 catches for 16. Jerry Jeudy was the leading receiver. 3 catches, 74 yards. He also led the team in targets. Do not add Jerry Jeudy. I still think Courtland Sutton is the receiver you want to roster here. 5 catches, 71 yards on 6 targets. 12.1 fantasy points will absolutely get it done. Adam Troutman, just a catch for 24 yards. Lucas Krull had a catch for 18. Lil Jordan Humphrey, 3 catches for 16 and a receiving touchdown. Good stuff there. And Brandon Johnson wasn't able to haul in his only target. Marvin Mims, super disappointing, wasn't able to haul in either of his 2 targets. So, Dynasty, I don't love his Dynasty prospects going forward, but you could do worse. Like, if you have a taxi squad, I think that's an ideal spot for Marvin Mims. Jared Goff, 22 of 34, 278 yards, 5 passing touchdowns, no rushing work. Just awesome stuff here. Jared Goff will kind of be up and down because this is a really well-schemed offense, so he's going to get some opportunities to rack up the touchdowns every once in a while. A really solid, if he's your every single week sort of starter, I would prefer him over Russell Wilson for sure, and over like Baker Mayfield, Gardner Minshew, those guys. Really solid option, Jared Goff. Not like the top of the top, but you could do for sure. You could do worse as far as every single week starter. I would put him above streaming quarterbacks for sure. Jahmyr Gibbs, 11 carries, 100 yards, and a rushing touchdown. He also had 2 catches for 8 yards and a receiving touchdown. Got to play Jahmyr Gibbs every week when he's being this productive. And David Montgomery was awesome too. 2 catches for -3 yards is bad, but 17 carries for 85 yards. That'll definitely get it done. You got to play both of these guys. This rushing attack is just absolutely lethal. This team is going to be really interesting in the playoffs, the way this offense can just do whatever they want sometimes against a defense that has been playing really well recently in the Broncos. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7 catches, 112 yards, and a receiving touchdown. Got to play him no matter what the matchup is, like we have every single week. Ideally, you have him locked into a receiving spot, and you haven't even thought about putting anybody else in there. Sam Laporta, 5 catches, 56 yards, 3 touchdowns is insane. Only 6 targets. You got to play Sam Laporta every single week. That's a level of upside that a lot of tight ends just don't have. Jameson Williams getting more volume here is interesting. 4 catches, 47 yards, and 7 targets. I still wouldn't trust him as far as fantasy this year, but next year, really interesting sort of dynasty play there. Josh Reynolds, 2 catches, 41 yards, 3 targets. He's a safe drop. Same thing with Khalif Raymond. He had a catch for 12. And Donovan Peoples-Jones, just 1 catch for 5 yards. I would drop him in dynasty, honestly. They just haven't really figured out a role for him, and they are prioritizing Jameson Williams and Josh Reynolds pretty clearly so far up to this point. So that's going to do it for me, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Follow at We Are Drafting on Instagram. We'll have all the Week 16 ads and drops ready to go Monday night, Tuesday morning. Hopefully we'll have all the position rankings at least getting going. The quarterbacks go first, running backs, receivers, tight ends, defense rankings. All that's going to be ready to go by the end of the week. By the time Thursday games start, I will see you over there. Thank you again very much for watching.